Welcome to Truth Be Told About Going Wild. I'm your host, Robert Hensley, and this is the podcast inspired by the principles of personal rewilding. In discussing rewilding with those who are curious, or when talking with potential clients, there are a couple of questions that come up. What are these practices for? What can these practices do? And today I'm going to answer these questions with an example straight out of the news, right out of the headlines, right? So from a website called reasonstobecheerful.world, contributing editor Gitanjali Krishna came across a 2024 article by Rebecca Randall for High Country News about how spending time in the woods could actually help wildfire survivors recover. We know there will be seasonal wildfires. They're just becoming bigger and becoming mega fires, the author offered in a radio interview on KJZZ. So there's an element of forest therapy being a way to connect with nature as it is and sort of adjust our expectations of what the forest can be for us. Now, Gitanjali wrote, what a cool idea to help forest fire survivors connect once again with the forest. Not many have discussed how hard it must be for survivors to return to their homes near or with forests when the forest and the trees themselves evoke the trauma they went through. And the gentle guided walks through the forest mitigate the fear and stressful memories while rekindling the love for nature. I absolutely believe that simply being in a forest, beach, mountain, or any wild place is good for both body and soul, so this solution really makes sense to me. Now, as we've discussed in past episodes, the practice of rewilding, including activities such as forest therapy or forest bathing, have been found to decrease stress and anxiety. We know that it's a health benefit mentally and physically. And as Gitanjali mentioned in her article, even the calming effects of these types of therapies can stir up trauma, right? Survivors of wildfires seem to take on a fear of the forest and its association with fire. However, the focus of these activities, right, whether that's just them stepping into the forest for themselves or whether they're working with a professional therapist, like these ecotherapies and trying to mitigate this trauma, right? The purpose of that is to separate the calm and beauty of the natural world from the destruction they witnessed by the element of fire, right? They're two separate things, right? The forest itself isn't always on fire, right? And the forest is being destroyed by the fire just as much as these survivors, their homes and their properties were destroyed by fire. So by taking themselves back into the forest and allowing themselves to reconnect to nature, to really kind of allow themselves to see nature as, again, calm and beautiful and something that can help them and help them de-stress and help them to kind of recenter and reground separately of the forest being, kind of a vehicle for a wildfire. That can really help to but work through the trauma that they witnessed with the fires and seeing the destruction that ultimately their homes, their businesses, their properties became part of. So there are so many different forms of forest therapies and ecotherapies based in ecopsychology, and they're all, again, so beneficial. And whether that is something that is, more deeply rooted, such as trauma or psychological distress, or simply just a general sense of rewilding, of having our bodies and our minds and our souls reconnect to nature, we get the same benefits, right? We see the decrease in stress, the decrease in blood pressure. We see, the cortisol levels, stress hormone levels decreasing. We see increased focus and cognitive abilities. So we really want to try to put these practices into our lives as much as possible, right? Because stepping outside into the forest is free. It's not going to cost us anything to rewild, to reconnect to nature. We're simply taking that on and absorbing the benefits for ourselves. Um, and that's what's really, really, really exciting about personal rewilding for me. So, thank you so much for listening this week. As usual, there are 3 opportunities every week for new content from Truth Be Told on the Club Paranormal channel on YouTube. There is Tony Sweet with the original Truth Be Told every Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Bonnie Burkert on Wednesdays with Truth Be Told Transformation. That again is 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And Mondays, Truth Be Told about going wild with me, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me via the website. You can visit my website at www.rhnaturereconnect.com. Again, that's rhnaturereconnect.com. And you can learn more about personal rewilding and what I do on the website. I look forward to hearing from you, and until next time.